Howdy folks, this is Rob with MTG Investor, and finishing off my Dragons of Tarkir spoilers, or early spoiler speculation, and we're going to look at a colorless card, a multicolored card, and a land card all in one shot here. First card we're going to look at is Dromoka's Command. It's a green and a white, rare. It's an instant. Choose two. One option is prevent all damage target instant or sorcery would deal this turn. Another option, target player sacrifices an enchantment. Also, another option, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And last option, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Right now, this is a $3 card. I don't really see this being more than a $2 card. Even $1 is probably pretty fair and reasonable. Long term, I just don't see this being more than $1 or $2 cards. You can see my little note there. Meh. Anyway. I think $3 is a little high, and it's probably sold for that because the other commands are better than this one in general. I think Atarka's being the best one. So because it's a command, I think the commands are just generally a little bit overpriced right now. It's really just a $1, $2 card, I think. I'm trying to think of the deck I would see this in right now. Would green-white devotion play this? The one that jumps out, target player sacrifice an enchantment, is the one that kind of speaks to me. But giving the player the opportunity to sacrifice something else instead of their Mastery of the Unseen, they could sack their little 2/4 guy with a man having a brain fart tonight. Their little creature enchantment guy, the 2/4 guy. Anyway, put counter on target creature. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really see that being a big thing. Target creature control fights target creature you don't control. Maybe that's used. I don't know. I just don't see this really being as a big player in the format. As a playable in Modern, I don't think so. You could, I guess, no, I just don't see that. Let's move past this guy because this guy does not excite me at all, and I just wanted to communicate that, and that's why I had it up here. So don't get crazy about that card. This guy, Haven of the Spirit Dragon. All right, so it's a land. It taps for colorless mana. It also taps to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Spend it only to cast Dragon Creature spell. Or for 2, you can tap it, sacrifice it, return target dragon creature card, or Ugin planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. Flavor. So right now this is a $3 card at its current pre-release price. In the short term, I see it as basically a dollar card. And long term, though, I see it as like about a $3 to $4 card. So the reason why is because it is just packed full of Ugin flavor. I think Ugin, this is just pure speculation, but I think Wizards of the Coast wants Ugin to be a major player going forward. Having this battle between Nicol Bolas and Ugin, and I think Nicol Bolas killed Ugin previously, so now Ugin's back, and if we're going to have a Zendikar block, maybe we're going to have Ugin fighting Nicol Bolas again. Maybe Nicol Bolas is going to die this time. Who knows? Will somebody go back in time and revive him? Who knows? But anyway, I think Ugin's going to be a major player going forward. So that means the way that card is worded, return target dragon creature card or Ugin planeswalker card. That tells me that there is probably going to be future Ugin planeswalker cards because it didn't specifically point out the Ugin that was printed in Fate Reforged. So maybe there's no plans for future Ugin, but they just left it open instead of closing it off and just limiting it to that one Ugin. Maybe just left the door open for the possibility. That's the Wizard designers are pretty smart now, knowing that they're trying to keep cards open-ended for future use. So that's a possibility. But I really think Ugin's going to be a major storyline player going forward. So for that, this card would only increase in value as it's going to be a big EDH player. This card is. Just being able to have multiple Ugins and this card to get them back, and it returns dragons, which is always, EDH players, a lot of them love dragons. So anyway, I think this is a pretty good, pretty decent card. I think full versions of this would probably be the way to go, because EDH players love to pimp their decks out. So I would try to nab a 401 for cheap if I could. There's other things I would nab before I try to get this, but if I'm trading and I see an opportunity to get a cheap full Haven of the Spirit Dragon, I'd go ahead and do it. Alright, next, Scion of Una. You're like, what? A 50-cent uncommon? Scion of Una, 6 mana, 4/4 flying creature. The reason why I have this up here is because it's colorless. And right now, there's some colorless cards, but the only significant ones were the Eldrazi that were colorless. And again, there are some other colorless cards. I'm trying to think of that 3 damage instant. It costs a red and 2. It's from like Future Sight or Planar Chaos, but it's a colorless spell. It says this is a colorless spell. Anyway, there's a few colorless things out there. But again, this is a flavor thing. It's dragon, so it is a dragon card. It's colorless and it has Ugin flavor. Again, I think Ugin's going to be a player going forward in Magic, in the story of Magic. And so long term, I think this is a $1, $2 card. Now, again, I'm not saying load the boat up on Scion of Una. I'm just saying if I'm drafting and I see this sitting on the table and nobody wants it, I'm gonna pick it up. I'll do the right thing and say, is this anybody's card, or do you want this? If they don't, then I want it, because this is the kind of card that I don't know. It just has a lot of flavor to it. And if you're selling in the future on eBay, people sell packages of dragon cards. Well, when I say package, I mean like people put together like, here's 30 dragon cards, and I'm going to sell them for, I don't know, 10, 12 bucks or whatever. So it's a dragon. So you can stick it in there and make some money selling dragon lots on eBay. So for that, it's decent to get it. If you can get them, some full ones, that would be great too. So keep that in mind. Not everything has to be just a great playable card. If I sell on eBay, I'll sell lots of dragons, lots of angels, when I say lot, I don't mean a lot. I mean a lot of. I don't mean that. I mean a lot as in, here's 30 dragon cards, here's 30 demon cards, here's 30 angel cards, here's 30 goblins, whatever it may be. You have to do a little work for yourself and figure out what sells well on eBay, and then you can just, when you see those cards, stick in I have a box of dragons, I have a box of angels, I have a box of demons. Whenever I have extras that I don't want, or that won't go in my personal collection, I throw it in the allotted box, and when I get enough, I'll throw some sets on eBay to sell, and it's a good way to make a little profit on eBay. So anyway, that's why I'm putting cards like this into my videos, so you can learn to profit off them also, and how people like me make money off cards like this that most people look at and say, this is a crappy card. So anyway, I hope you learned something, and I would appreciate your likes. And again, I appreciate those of you who have subbed. And this is Rob with MTG Investor, and you guys take care. Happy trading.